Welcome to the College Knowledge Podcast, sponsored by the College Planning Network and Paradigm Financial Group. Whether you're searching for that right fit college, applying to college, or figuring out how you're going to afford it all, you're in the right place. You'll hear from deans, admissions counselors, student athletes, and scholars from esteemed universities and colleges around the country. We'll dig deep to uncover their insight and unique experiences. So whether you're a student gearing up for college or a parent with college-bound kids, sit back, relax, and listen. Like you, we have lots of questions. Our guests have the answers, and we're excited to share them with you. Let's get started. If you didn't know, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn at Elite Collegiate Planning. Make sure to share and tag us. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to College Knowledge Edition.
Special edition.
FAFSA hot take.
Yeah, we're at it again, Dave.
So, I don't know if you guys have been with us long enough to know of last year, but if you were, the federal government decided, well, it wasn't even last year, it was the COVID Relief 2.0 that had the FAFSA Simplification Act. It was an omnibus spending bill that changed how the FAFSA was going to be done. For those of you who don't know, the FAFSA is the gateway for financial aid. Financial aid being need-based, merit-based, and scholarship at the institutions themselves, so that your grants, your scholarships, everything basically starts with the FAFSA. It's your gateway. So as you're approaching your senior year, typically you fill out the financial aid forms known as the FAFSA, and then subsequently the CSS Profile. Once you fill those out, you get a number. Your number then starts to dictate what aid you're eligible to receive, and then the offers are made, etc. Mm-hmm. Last year, all the changes that they scripted in 2021 had to be fulfilled by last year. Last year, obviously, they failed. I think the FAFSA that was scheduled to open October 1 finally opened in middle of January.
Yep.
And then it completely failed the entire higher ed system throughout the year. It never worked.
Right. It officially opened that everybody could submit their FAFSA finally in January, and then in late February, they realized, we didn't account for inflation. And they basically had to recalculate. There was an inflation table that was wrong. And so all the work that was done up until a certain point then got delayed again, that schools wouldn't receive FAFSA information until mid-March.
And then
yeah,
when they went to distribute the information to the schools, the portal failed again, and they were unable to give accurate information. The schools were then unable to change. They were unable to do amendments and things like that. So it was just a complete cluster. Mm-hmm. So we stood by quietly and dealt with it, being in the college space. Well, with expectations that they had learned from their mistakes and that they would do better this year. And as of yesterday, the Department of Education came out and said the free application for federal student aid, the FAFSA form, is going to be launched through a new process. Starting October 1, they're going to allow a very select set of students and institutions to participate. So what does that mean, Joe?
Well, I remember the same verbiage and everything was done, I believe, on December 30th last year. Mm-hmm. And I think it might mean that there's like 100 people that might get actual acting. In other words, be prepared that if you're expecting at some point in early October to be able to actually log on and complete your FAFSA, chances are that's not going to be the case. That's what I can take away from that.
Well, and again, this is all political BS, excuse my language, but it's all buffering and posturing and legalese language. It goes on to say the department, this is the U.S. Department of Education's announcement. It goes on to state that the department will make the application available to all students on or before December 1st. Don't believe it. The process informed by conversations and feedback from thousands of students, institutions, and other stakeholders.
What are other stakeholders involved?
Huge question.
What is that?
So anyway, they're going to invite volunteers to participate in this testing period, and again, I'm expecting a abysmal performance here, and I read these quotes from the education secretary. Thanks to the partnership of our stakeholders, we've developed better implementation process for 25, 26. If you've developed a better implementation process, why is it being delayed again?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, listen, I wouldn't hold your breath for it being up and running by December 1.
No.
The other point that I'll make to all the listeners is that just because the FAFSA form is out and they can download the information from you and they can automatically now tap into your tax returns and all this stuff, they failed miserably at supporting the institutions that are actually the ones that are generating the financial aid award offers and giving out the grants and scholarships. They failed the institutions that have all the money.
Yep.
And so last year was the first year in my entire career of doing this over 15 years where where there was one appeal was granted. All the rest of them, these schools basically came back and said, we'd love to evaluate this, but we have no way to do it because we don't have the information.
So I don't think people realize how much, unless you had a senior last year. Now, there was two giant takeaways that I had because I had numerous conversations with head of financial aid, departments with parents on the phone conference calls. The first thing is I was shocked to hear, and I heard this more than once, schools that use the CSS profile, which by the way, will open October 1st.
Yeah, and we'll go off without a hitch,
Yep.
and schools are going to be embracing it, and
Yep.
you're going to see a massive shift.
More than one financial aid officer told me the FAFSA is irrelevant.
Yep.
The student needs to fill it out so that they can qualify for government loans. If the parents want to take the plus loans, they have to fill that out.
Yep.
We have your information that we got from the CSS profile. We know what your number is going to look like from a FAFSA perspective because we have the formula. So we expect you're going to get this offer from them. We'll add it to our offer. It's not 100% official because of that. Outside of that, the money we give you from our pockets, from institutional money, the FAFSA is 100% irrelevant. It has nothing to do with the package we offered you. That is shocking to me because, one, I think the schools realized that there was going to be a major screw up. Mm-hmm. They also didn't have the information to make offers to students in time to help them make an informed decision of where they wanted to go.
Yeah, I mean, just to recap last year, all those delays led to schools actually being forced to delay decision day. They were delayed in giving money out. They couldn't even do their own accounting. They couldn't put the budgets together for the following year. I mean, it was an absolute mess that still isn't cleaned up.
No. And I mean, yeah, I have families right now that are waiting for their bill. Like renewing students, they're still waiting for their official award for year 2, 3, or 4. Mm-hmm. Like that's how bad this thing has been delayed. So number one is CSS Profile schools. If they're on your list, you need to know that that is the form that is going to be paramount to make sure that gets completed early, accurate, because mistakes on there at certain institutions is going to be the difference if you make a mistake on making that school more expensive. Number two was because some schools were trying to prep for this. And one financial aid officer that I spoke with, this was shocking. Family, we had to appeal because their student aid index, their EFC, was very low. And the school historically had met around 60% of a family's need. This family was getting met about 20. So there was obviously a shortfall that the school in past years would offer more.
Yep.
So through the appeal process, when we were having this conversation, I was told, Joe, you're 100% correct. And in any other year, what would have happened is this family would have received more money up front in an offer. The problem was that because of all the delays with FAFSA, we more or less had to offer 100% of our students a dollar amount.
Yep.
And so what she ended up saying was students that usually would not have gotten money got money, and the families that would have gotten more didn't get what they should have.
Yeah, they basically took the pie, sliced it up evenly, and distributed it.
Because they were not going to have their information in an accurate time. They knew that if they didn't get that info out, their seats weren't going to get filled. Right? Yeah, they were going to be in danger of not filling their seats.
We want to help. Send your questions to info@collegeknowledge.net. These can be about college, finances, careers, and anything else you have questions on. And if for those of you that aren't in the business or in the industry and haven't paid attention to this, but are entering into this phase of your life, college is a huge money game. Mm-hmm. There is a awful lot of money in higher education. And when a school is forced because of the government ineptness to distribute funds, they are playing a very tricky game of college yield, right? They're trying to get people to come to their institution. And so that family that needs $40K but gets 10, that institution's off the table. That yield number is thrown completely askew. Mm-hmm. And what you have as a result is bankrupt schools shutting down, schools getting bought. It is a very, very bad thing, the way this has been handled by the government, and all in an effort to simplify a form that was pretty simple from the beginning. It just asked information you had to disclose.
Yeah. So, I mean, I always laughed at it because, again, the whole purpose of this FAFSA revamp, because honestly, I didn't think it was broken and needed to be fixed to begin with, was meant to be a simpler process, right? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was meant to help families make college more affordable, right? Make the process more fair, give families that needed more money, have them eligible for more money. Okay.
Fail
on both fronts. It was delayed. The people would submit things and get kicked out halfway through submitting it. They would get, have to redo things.
No, go up on that.
You want to go down? Sorry.
Yeah, right there.
Okay. And then again, after speaking with this, we know that it ended up having a catastrophic effect on what families were offered money. So it literally made schools that usually would be more affordable more expensive for certain families, and the families that didn't need the aid got more aid than they typically would have in years past. It did the exact opposite of what its intention was. That's frustrating from just across the board. What's the old Reagan quote? The scariest thing to hear is "I'm here from the government."
Yeah, I'm from the government.
I'm from the government, here to help. I mean, it's a crazy how backwards this became. You would think that a year later, kinks worked out, and now I don't see where things look like it's going to get any better from this announcement, because it's exactly what we saw last year. Oh, it's not going to open October, it's going to open December, right? And then come October, they say, hey, it's going to be pushed back to December 31st. And then in November, it's going to open by they can just keep delaying this, because, okay, they're going to start testing it in October. Why aren't you testing it now? If it's ready to go, why are you not doing some type of test run right now so that it's fully open by October? Why would you even just start doing this October?
Scroll up a little bit more of that one paragraph where they're reading right there. Thanks to the investment through the FAFSA student support strategy, don't know what that is, and the partnership of community and stakeholders, student application success rates have significantly increased over the past 6 months, with submissions gap from the prior year falling from roughly 40% in March to under 4% as of today. What is going on? There was a 40% success rate in March. That meant 40% of the information was transmitted.
So, the submission gap from the prior year. So in March, there was 40% less submissions than March of 2023. That's how I'm reading that.
Application success rates. That means federal application success rate was 40%. It was roughly 40%, right? Student application success rates have significantly increased over the past 6 months.
With the gap from the prior year falling from roughly 40% in March. So I think they're saying the success rate was 40% lower this March than it was March of 23. And now we're in August, and they're saying now it's under 4. Well,
they have no idea what they're
doing. A little
doing.
late to the game, right? Okay, so when it mattered in March, there was 40% less FAFSA submission completions, right, than in 2023. That is insane. And they're trying to make that seem like it's a positive.
Yeah. Well, listen, all I would say to everyone is buckle up, pay attention, stick on our podcast. We'll certainly be making announcements about this. We'll be talking through it. I think if history tells us anything, they tried to fix something. It didn't need fixed. They haven't fixed it. And Joe, the sad part to me is the outcome. Even if you read the congressional report, right? I read the congressional report on the act that said what had to be implemented and why it had to be implemented and the reason and logic behind it. It doesn't change a thing. Mm-mm. It gives you a negative SAI, was essentially changed the name from expected family contribution to student aid index, and it gives you a $1,500 negative possibility. It allows for incarcerated people to get student loans.
Well, I mean, the formula changed for not good for a lot of families. 2 kids in school.
Yeah, you're getting messed up.
Yeah, I had families that received Pell Grants, with 2 kids in school the year previous, and now didn't.
Yep.
I mean, mind is blown on this one. I don't understand how they went about doing this, but the actual implementation of it failed awful. I mean,
from conception to implementation, it's been a failure.
Oh yeah,
it was an ill-conceived change to something that didn't need changed, and I can't help but stick to my guns and say that this is for the benefit of the lending institution that is the U.S. government.
It's bad. It's really bad, and who knows what else they're going to be changing. Again, usually this time of year, again, when prior to the changes, it'd be the end of July that the entire formula would be released. So you could...
Loan rates were established. It was done.
Everything, as a planner, I could then take the formula that was given, create the formula, and tell somebody what their EFC would be.
Yep.
And I'd be off by maybe $1.
Yep.
Right. I mean, because it's a mathematical, you can't.
Correct.
It is what
right
it
input
is.
equals right output.
Why do we still don't have that?
Well, and the shame of this is people like, oh, you're making such a big deal. We are making a big deal because this is all new, right? The FAFSA, the last change was 2016. Right. They changed it from a January 1 open to an October 1 and a bunch of other things. And the erosion of the protection allowance and all that stuff was 2016, implemented in 2018.
Yep.
So we're only 4 years into the changes, only 4 to 6 years into the changes, and it's a complete overhaul. Anyway, stick with us. Pay attention. We'll be making plenty of announcements on the FAFSA as we learn more. We'll certainly keep you guys educated on it. But buckle up, all you guys that are rising seniors. Buckle up for this financial aid season.
Be prepared. Don't let this announcement think that you have more time.
100%.
Right. Again, you can only deal the cards that you're dealt. You can only play with the cards you're dealt. Be prepared that everything is ready to go by October 1st. If you are looking at early decision, if you're looking at early action, you can't let this think that you have more time, right? If you're doing the CSS profile, this does not have anything to do with that. Be prepared heading into these next couple of months. If you need help making sure you're properly prepared, you know that we're here. We know the College Planning Network is there to help. They have monthly webinars that I'm sure will be guiding families all the way through, even outside of what we do from a podcast standpoint. But there's help that's out there. If you feel like you're not ready for this and you need some assistance, you know that we're here to help. Please don't hesitate to touch base with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And make sure you know whether it's a FAFSA or CSS Profile school. And you can, for all the CPN clients, you can find that right on the main page of the website on the search Faster Technology. For all of you that want to know that information, you can go to collegeplanningnet.com, get a subscription for $200, and you can find all this information out right on screen in real time.
That's it.
All right, everybody.
Buckle up.
Buckle up is right. Thanks, everyone, for being a part of College Knowledge, powered by Elite Collegiate Planning. Just as an FYI, we are guaranteeing that you will save money on college by working with ECP. This is a guarantee that you will pay less. Book a free consultation at elitecollegiateplanning.com.